How are you feeling today, Alex?
I actually feel good because I get a chance to, for the first time, say what's really going on instead of the corporate media and high-powered law firms manipulating what I actually did.
There is a wild trial going on in Texas where InfoWars host Alex Jones, who pushed the conspiracy theory that the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School was all a hoax, is in a Texas courtroom. And late this afternoon, he took the stand, just hours after the parents of one of the 6-year-olds killed. It sounds like I'm saying 26 years old. It's 20 kids, 6-year-olds, who were killed in the shooting, took the stand. They have already won a default judgment against him, and now the jury's responsible for deciding how much money should be awarded to Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis, the parents of 6-year-old Sandy Hook victim Jesse Lewis. Now remember, if it was all a hoax, the parents were lying, or even actors, as Jones once suggested. And from basically the second he sat down, Jones wanted the jury to know that he'd apologized.
I just do want to say this on record, because I've said it many times. I apologize to both.
Sustained. So, Mr. Jones, one of the instructions I just gave you is that this is not a conversation. It's question and answer.
So she got the monologue, but not me. I got it.
And so you have to only answer questions that are asked of you. Mr. Reynal will ask you, I'm certain, all the questions you want, but you have to wait for the question.
And he admitted he had made a mistake, but seemed to blame the internet rather than himself.
I guess with the age of the internet, people grabbing clips out of talk radio or talk TV and mixing it together, I can see how it can cause problems. That's why I've admitted that I've made a lot of mistakes, but none of it was done from some master plan deal. It was done from a bedroom in my house.
Both parents suing him also took the stand, and Heslin told the jury how Jones has made their lives a living hell.
Mr. Heslin, I understand that your house has been shot at. All people yell Alex Jones' name in InfoWars. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell us about that, if you would, please.
A few years back, my home was shot up. Vehicles were shot up in my yard. That's disturbing.
That's the dad of a 6-year-old who was killed. That's why he's gotten into this. An attorney representing the parents asked the jury last week to award Heslin and Lewis $150 million. This trial has also included some parts of Jones, and they have showed this in court, which is clips of Jones questioning the shootings on his show.
If governments have a history of being caught staging fake shootings and bombings to take people's liberties and crack down on the public in the name of security, and you've got telltale signs of it over and over again, you've got to then investigate to see if criminal elements of government or foreign corporations or the UN or others are involved.
We heard from both parents today about how those lies have impacted them.
This trial is the only way I can restore my credibility and reputation. It's been destroyed and damaged by these constant attacks. And
does it make you relive the moments surrounding his murder?
Yes.
Does it reopen the wounds that were created as a result of your grief?
Yes.
Does it make them difficult to heal?
Yes.
And then the mom of the 6-year-old killed, Scarlett Lewis, from the stand, spoke directly to Alex Jones.
I wanted to tell you to your face, because I wanted you to know that I am a mother first and foremost, and I know that you're a father, and my son existed. You're still on your show today trying to say that I'm implying that I'm an actress, that I'm deep state. You have this week, and I don't understand. Truth is so vital to our world. Truth is what we base our reality on. And we have to agree on that to have a civil society.
Last week, a heated moment where Jones's attorney flipped off the plaintiff's attorney, Mark Bankston, in court. Raynell would apologize. And even before the trial began, this stunt, Jones placing duct tape over his mouth bearing the InfoWars logo and the words "Save the First," a reference to the First Amendment. He reportedly brought the tape into the courtroom, placing it on the defense table during opening statements in full view of the jury. Now, it often seems that Jones is not taking this case all that seriously. Today, he got in a spat with the judge about chewing gum in court.
Spit your gum out, Mr. Jones.
It's not gum.
What is it? Because you're not allowed food or gum of any kind in the courtroom.
I had my tooth pulled a week and a half ago, and I had some gauze in it earlier, and it's been causing me to have some pain.
So you're chewing on your gauze?
Would you like me to show you?
No, I
Right
just
here?
want you to answer my question.
No, I was massaging the hole in my mouth with my tongue. Right there, right here. Here.
I don't want to see
All right.
the inside of your mouth.
Oh, no, there's no gum. Hole.
Sit down.
Here's the good news, is the camera was facing from the back, so we didn't actually have to see that from the front. Joining us now is Jesse Weber, who's been closely following this trial for the Law and Crime Network, which I founded. Jesse, thanks for coming back on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so Alex Jones took the stand today. Did he in any way, shape, or form help his case?
Wow. On one hand, I'll say this. Okay, on one hand, I'll say this. He's been very clear on what his message is. And the message is, I never intended to hurt these people. It was never my intention to harm them. I didn't want to do this. It was just I was doing my fact-finding mission, and this is what happened. Now, the reason he's doing that is because he's trying to avoid a heavy damages payout. He's trying to avoid punitive damages. On one hand, I get what he's trying to do. The problem is it's too little too late, and none of what he's saying seems genuine, particularly because earlier in the day, he was on his InfoWars show trashing Neil Heslin, the plaintiff in this case. That video was played for the jury and was presented to Mrs. Lewis, and she said, I don't even know how to explain this. He's continuing to bash us. So why should the jury right now believe anything he has to say and that he's apologizing when, as she said, he's still fighting it? And by the way, Dan, just to mention the gum for a second, or the lack of gum. So yes, he said he had a tooth pulled, but our cameras actually caught it on one angle. He turned around and seemingly put something in his mouth that he was chewing. There's no part of what Alex Jones has been doing during the course of this trial that seems genuine and like he's telling the truth.
All right, so bring us up to date on the financial. This is about money, right? This is about how much he's going to have to pay. My understanding is that he's filing for bankruptcy, right? But punitive damages, would those be something you could wipe away with a bankruptcy filing?
Okay, so we've had the same conversation with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, right? Usually when you have a bankruptcy filing, it washes away some of your liabilities and debts. The problem with defamation claims is that's known as an intentional tort, and you can't use the bankruptcy code to avoid your obligations. There's a separate question about whether or not these plaintiffs, unlike what we covered with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, if they're public figures. And the reason that matters is because there's a standard called actual malice. It's a higher standard, and that is considered more of an intentional tort. That's still being designed right now. It's still being weighed. So right now what he's trying to do is use the bankruptcy code to stop future litigation against him. I don't think it's going to work to actually prevent a judgment, to stop collecting of this judgment. I know what he's trying to do. I just don't think it's going to be successful. And if I had to predict, I think he's going to have a very large judgment levied against him.
But he doesn't seem that worried about it if he's still going on his show today and trashing the parents.
Dan, this is a guy that believes in lizard people. So, I mean, there's a part where I don't know what the reality is, what he's actually thinking. There's a part of it that he thinks that this is a three-ring circus and everyone's around to get him. But he also understands the practical implications, which is why he's going to the bankruptcy court and trying to declare bankruptcy, because he feels what's happening. Now, any argument that he's making that this is First Amendment and his rights are being violated, he could have argued that previously. He chose not to. That's why a default judgment was entered against him. He's already lost.
Jesse Weber, thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.